Okay, so the next part is composition and resolution of forces. So first of all, we will see what is composition of forces. The process of finding out the resultant force of a number of given forces is called as the composition of force or compounding of forces. So suppose there are number of forces and it is forming a force system. Okay, if it is a forming a force system, then what we will do, we will compile the each force and we will find out the resultant of that force system. Means instead of having four forces, we will give a one force whose effect will be same as all of those forces. That is nothing but the compounding or composition of forces. Okay, so suppose this is an object. Okay, so suppose this is an object like this. Consider this is as a box which is resting on a ground, and there are two forces which are acting like this. This is F1 and this force is F2. Okay, so this is F1 and this is F2, and what will be the resultant force of this if these two forces effect is equal to the another force. Suppose this is F. Okay, the effect of F1 and F2, if it is same as F, okay, we will convert F1 and F2 in such a way that into F in such a way that the effect of this F1 and F2 will be same as F. Okay, so it will be nothing but the resultant of this force system, and it is called as a compounding of forces, or we can say composition of forces. So what are the methods of composition of forces? Analytical method is there and method of resolution is there. Okay, so first of all we will see parallelogram law of forces. So if the two forces are acting simultaneously on a particle be represented in a magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of parallelogram, the resultant may be represented in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the parallelogram. So if we see here, this is the certain point on which the force P and Q is acting. Okay, the length of the P and the length of the Q and the angle. Okay, so the P and Q, the length represent their magnitude. Okay, and theta is an angle between these two forces. So if you want the resultant of this force system, only two forces are acting on it. We will draw a parallel line of equal magnitude of P, where the Q is ending. We'll draw again a parallel line which will have same magnitude as or same length as P. Just like that, we will draw Q at the end point of a P, and it will be having same length as a Q. So it will form this parallelogram. Okay, so it will form this parallelogram like this. This one is that parallelogram. Okay, so if we draw its diagonal, it will represent resultant of these two forces P and Q. Okay, and its angle alpha will give the direction of resultant with respect to P. Okay, so this is what the law of parallelogram is saying. Then after that, wait for a minute. Okay, and then after that we will see its derivation. So P and Q are the forces acting simultaneously on a particle making an angle theta, then the resultant is the diagonal of the parallelogram and direction of resultant is angle alpha with the direction of force P. Okay, so I have copied only uh, this much part. Okay, only this much part I have copied. Okay, so if we see, the force P is there. Okay, so the force P is here. At the end point of P, I have drawn this force Q, which is parallel to the initial force that was here. That is nothing but the Q. Okay, so like this, and we have formed a right angle triangle here. Okay, so this is P, this is Q, the angle theta is there. Okay, so the force P, force Q was here like this. That force Q was there like this. So I have copied it at this point with the same magnitude. Okay, so and the angle theta is will be also same as uh, Q we have drawn parallel. Okay, so the next, so this is angle theta, so this is right angle triangle we have formed here. So as we know that uh, cos theta is equal to adjacent side upon hypotenuse. Okay, so this is nothing but the adjacent side. We can say that is DC. Okay, this is adjacent side and hypotenuse is BD. Okay, so we want DC. So DC is equal to BD. BD. BD cos theta. So BD is nothing but the Q. Okay, so this is Q cos theta. So that's why DC is equal to Q cos theta. Just like that, in case of a BC, we can say that sin theta is equal to, okay, so sin theta is equal to opposite side upon hypotenuse. Okay, so in this case opposite side is nothing but BC and hypotenuse is BD. We want BC, that's why BC is equal to BD sin theta and BD is nothing but the Q, so BC is equal to Q sin theta. Okay, so that's why BC is represented as Q sin theta. Now consider angle ABC. If we consider angle ABC as per Pythagoras theorem, as this is the right angle triangle, AB will become hypotenuse. So AB square is equal to AC square plus BC square. AC is nothing but P plus Q cos theta. P plus Q cos theta and BC is Q sin theta. Okay, Q sin theta square. Okay, so this is square. Okay, so if we again simplified it, as we know that A plus B square is equal to A square plus 2AB plus B square. Okay, so P plus Q cos theta whole square will become R square is equal to P square plus 2PQ cos theta plus Q square cos square theta, and Q sin theta square is Q square sin square theta. So P square plus 2PQ cos theta Here cos square theta plus sin square theta. We know that cos square theta plus sin square theta is equal to 1. So q square is taken outside the bracket and cos square theta plus sin square theta is equal to 1. So that's why r square is equal to p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. And r is nothing but it's root of p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. So we got finally resultant with the help of these two forces, p root of p square plus q square 2pq cos theta. Whenever we find the resultant, we shall specify magnitude and direction. Okay, so this is the very basic of engineering mechanics. If you just find out the magnitude of the resultant, it is not sufficient. Whenever we are saying a resultant, then it comes with magnitude and its direction, okay, its angle, okay, so it has to be provided. So that's why, as we know, tan alpha is the opposite side upon adjacent side, okay. So here we will see this is alpha. So when we say tan alpha, opposite side upon adjacent side, to this alpha the q sin theta is opposite and adjacent is p plus q cos theta, okay. So opposite side is q sin theta divided by p plus q cos theta. This will give us angle alpha, okay. That angle alpha is with the force p. Just like this we have find out, here we have find out the magnitude of the resultant, and here we have find out the magnitude of direction of the resultant, okay. So like this we have to solve this problem. So it is nothing but the parallelogram law of forces, and it is valid when there are only two forces are acting, okay. So this is actually, if we consider, this is actually a graphical method. If you are given with the two forces graphically, you can draw a parallelogram and you can find out the resultant and you can find out the alpha. There is nothing but the angle of inclination, okay, to the scale. If you are drawing, then it is possible. If you do not remember the formulas, it is possible sometimes we will forget the formulas, okay. So in that case, if you want to solve the problem, you can solve like this: r and p, the angle you can measure, p to the taking particular scale, you can find you can draw p and q and you can form a parallelogram and you can find out the resultant, and also you can find out the theta graphically, okay. So if you find out the analytically, then you should remember the formula, and r is equal to root of p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. That will give you the magnitude, and alpha, tan alpha is equal to q sin theta divided by p plus q cos theta. This will give you the angle of resultant with respect to p, okay. So like this you can remember, and this is what all about parallelogram law of forces, okay. ठीक आहे. तर थोडक्यात काय होतं की हा जो आहे पॅरलेलोग्राम लॉ ऑफ फोर्सेस, जर का तुम्हाला पी आणि क्यू हे दोन जर का फोर्सेस दिलेले आहेत आणि त्या केसमध्ये जर का त्याच्यामधला अँगल जर का थिटा दिला आहे, तर एक पर्टिक्युलर स्केल घेऊन तुम्ही काय करू शकता, पॅरलेलोग्राम फॉर्म करू शकता. ज्या ठिकाणी पी एंड होतो त्या ठिकाणी क्यू ड्रॉ करा पॅरलेल टू ओरिजिनल क्यू, आणि पी ड्रॉ करा जिथे क्यू एंड होतो पॅरलेल टू ओरिजिनल पी फोर्स, ओके, विथ सर्टन स्केल. आणि असं जर का केल्यानंतर आपल्याला एक पॅरलेलोग्राम मिळेल, ठीक आहे. त्याचा जो डायगोनल असेल तो तुम्हाला काय देईल, रिझल्टंट देईल, ओके, रिझल्टंट मिळेल तुम्हाला त्याचा. आणि त्याचा जर का तुम्हाला अँगल पाहिजे असेल विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू पी, तर तुम्ही जो डायरेक्टली काय करू शकता, मेजर करू शकता विथ द हेल्प ऑफ इन्स्ट्रुमेंट्स, ठीक आहे. आता ह्याच्यामध्ये हा तुम्हाला अँगल अल्फा मिळेल. जर का तुम्हाला क्यू सोबत पाहिजे असेल तरीसुद्धा तुम्ही तो या केसमध्ये फाइंड आउट करू शकता, ठीक आहे. आणि हा फॉर्म्युला जो आहे तो तुम्हाला रिमेंबर करायला लागेल. जर का तुम्हाला ॲनालिटिकली प्रॉब्लेम सॉल्व करायचा असेल तर आर इज इक्वल टू रूट ऑफ पी स्क्वेअर प्लस क्यू स्क्वेअर 2pq कॉस थिटा. आणि जर का अँगल पाहिजे असेल टॅन अल्फा इज इक्वल टू क्यू साइन थिटा डिवाइडेड बाय पी प्लस क्यू कॉस थिटा. अँगल हा आपल्याला हवाच असतो, कारण ज्यावेळेस आपण रिझल्टंट एखादा फोर्स सिस्टीमचा देतो त्यावेळेस आपल्याला त्याचा मॅग्निट्यूड आणि अँगल ह्या दोन्ही गोष्टी द्याव्या लागतात. त्यावेळेसच तो एक व्हॅलिड रिझल्टंट होईल.